Okay. In the course of the discussion of the dog's day-to-day routine and structure, I learned that the dogs really don't have any rules. Now, for dogs, they go through life probing, waiting to be corrected or rewarded, and that's where they figure out where boundaries and limits are. Actually, 50% of human canine communication is us correcting them when they cross the line. Now, for dogs, the higher that they sit, the more status or rank that they have. The top dog has to sit in the highest place because he or she needs to be in charge of security. So they see a coyote, and then she calls for some reinforcements, and they go run the coyote off. So that's why the height that a dog sits with amongst its peers is very important. So if we let the dog sit the same height as us, then we're saying we're equals. If we let the dog sit higher than us, then we're not equals anymore. Then the humans belong to the dog. And that creates a lot of problems, and it also creates a lot of stress. I wouldn't be surprised if the lack of rules is partially to blame for Max's insecurity, because he's waiting for somebody to say, hey, that's too far, and it never happens. So he feels like he's an authority figure. If you're an authority figure, you have more responsibility. That's just the name of the game. Mm-hmm. So, come. Sit. So what I would suggest is for 30 days, you don't allow the dogs on any furniture at all. Now, it's going to take them about 2 or 3 days. They're going to probe, and they're going to keep on trying to get up because we're essentially demoting them. Mm-hmm. But if you want them to listen to you, they have to respect you. Now, if they see you as equals, then listening to you is elective. I listen to you when I feel like it. When I don't feel like it, I do what I want to do. But if it's a boss or authority figure, then I have to do what they tell me to do if I respect them as an authority figure. So at the end of 30 days, then I would make it, you can be on the furniture if I invite you up, but you're only up here for good behavior. And one-time invitation is a one-time only deal. So if I invite the dog up, it comes up, and then it goes down and goes against drink water, comes back, it has to get an invitation to come back up on the couch a second time. Mm-hmm. It's going to take you a little bit of time and some willpower, because a lot of times when we're used to letting dogs on the furniture, we want to let them continue to do that, but it really is confusing for the dogs, and it is absolutely related to dogs that don't listen to you and engage in nuisance behaviors. So no furniture would be one of the first rules that I would suggest for 30 days, and then after that only with permission. And you can do it with just one dog. So if Max is being a good dog, you want to invite Max up. The other two dogs have to stay on the floor. Just because Max gets up doesn't give them the right to get up as well. Another rule that I usually make is going in or out of doors, I make the dog sit. But I only ask one time. If I keep on saying the command word over and over and over, then I'm not really an authority figure because I'm not following through. So I'm going to go to the door and I'm going to say sit. Let's say that Lola sits. Then I let Lola out. The other two don't sit. Then I walk away from the door and I come and sit down here and I wait for a minute. Now, if I wait over there at the door, they know I'm waiting on them. So I don't tell them anything. I say sit once. They don't sit, or the two that don't, I come and sit here, pull out my phone, play Words with Friends or whatever your game is, check your emails. After a minute, go to the door and ask them again, one time. If one of them sits, then that dog, as soon as the dog's butt hits the ground, I let that dog go out. If the other dog doesn't, I walk away. Now I wait for 2 minutes. And then I wait for 4 minutes. Then I wait for 8 minutes. So each time that the dog doesn't comply, it has to wait twice as long before it has another opportunity to comply. So sitting, letting the dog in or out of doors, you're going to do that thousands of times over the dog's lifetime. So if you get in a habit of doing it, you're reinforcing the healthy leader-follower dynamic without putting forth any effort whatsoever. I really try to help my clients cheat. Another important thing is how close dogs are to anybody else that's eating. For a dog, it's extraordinarily rude to be within 7 feet of anyone who's eating food, even if they're not begging. If I want to take something from a dog, if I'm a dog and this dog has a bone, I'm just going to basically get up and slowly kind of invade their personal space. Now he doesn't have a bone. I'm just going to wait until the dog feels intimidated. Then the dog puts the bone down, and then I still wait. I wait for the dog to walk away, and then I pick up the bone. So if a dog is within 7 feet of another dog, it's challenging for the food, even if they're not begging. It'd be the same way if somebody's wife went to go change clothes and a house guest followed them to the bedroom, and the husband's like, "What are you doing?" Well, I'm just going to watch. I'm not going to do anything. That's still inappropriate. We need boundaries. So for them, they need to have a boundary of 7 feet. So if you guys are eating and the dog is next to you, even if it's not begging, it's inappropriately. And same thing with the other dogs. And because you have 3 dogs, if one dog invades, well, then I better go break the rules too. Otherwise, he would get a benefit that I don't get. So if the dog comes too close to you within the 7 feet, then I stand up, abruptly and turn to face the dog. If the dog doesn't move away, then I march at the dog briskly, and I don't stop. A lot of people stop short when they get to the dog. The dog needs to have the impression, if I'm still here when the human gets here, the human is running my butt over. So I better get out of the way. Giving and taking territory is about half of how dogs communicate with each other. So when you get up, make sure you do it in a sudden movement. If I kind of get up slowly, there's not much of a reaction. But if I get up like, so that is interpreted more as a communication. So these are 3 simple rules that you can incorporate. I'm going to talk about some others that you can incorporate as well, but they're very, very important. It's a small thing. Some people are like, oh, but I like having the dog on the furniture, and he's my buddy. They feel like it's a mean thing. But if you have a child, you don't let your child just, once you let them drive the car to prom, they can't take the car whenever they want. It's a privilege. They have to earn it through good behavior and getting an invitation because it's you guys' decision, not them.
Okay.